Thank you, Chair. Thank you for attending tonight. AgriFutures is active in hemp research and development, which you list as an emerging industry, and I guess it's been emerging for about 6,000 years now, and was pretty prominent in the 20s and 30s. But I'm glad to see you're doing work with this amazing plant. So I understand it's getting some, in your list here, it's getting $2.5 million and several installations. I note the grants for industrial hemp variety trials, including one trial in the Territory, Northern Territory. As I travelled through Queensland talking to farmers, when I mention hemp, they tell me it doesn't grow in a northern climate. Even though I visited a hemp farm in Atherton, they had a beautiful crop. Have you run a trial in Queensland? I couldn't see it there.
I need to take that on notice. We certainly have one at Katherine in the Northern Territory, so we've certainly got them in the northern part of Australia. In Queensland, I don't need to take it on notice to
thank you.
Get back to you on that.
How long before the result of the Northern Territory trial can be documented?
So I believe that trial has now been running for a couple of years. I think we've got another year or so to go in that trial. It's testing new varieties, so it's doing a comparison between varieties that are out there that growers can get access to. So I think, Senator, you may well be able to get some preliminary results now.
Now, and certainly in 12 months. Okay. Hemp can produce biochar as an extremely effective method of returning carbon to the soil for the benefit of soil health. Is that part of your research effort?
Look, we've got 4 areas that we're looking at in hemp. One of them is around genetics, and I won't go through the others because of time.
One is around what?
Around genetics and better varieties, but I won't go through them because you're short on time. We do have one of our 4 programs is about sustainability and how you can actually sequester carbon and how that might be used. So I don't think biochar specifically is in the scope of what's been done there, but there are some other issues we're looking at.
Yeah, I'm going to raise that in a minute. Turning to political activity, I note in this research and innovation plan that on page 21 under what we don't do, it says, quote, operate in a politically biased capacity, and I fully support that. AgriFutures should be doing agricultural research and development, not politics. Yet on page 80 in here, I won't go to it, you tie everything you are doing to United Nations sustainability goals. How is that not politics?
So what we've done in our 5-year plan is we mapped our priorities against the United Nations sustainability goals. So we've literally gone through our plan and said, how do they line up?
Why?
Because certainly some of our markets overseas are very keen to see how we line up against those international standards. So we made a point this time of putting them in there and making them explicit.
Okay. Just as an aside, before I rush on to the next, in my experience and what I've seen, some of the UN sustainability goals or UN sustainability measures are not sustainable without subsidies, which makes them not sustainable. So anyway, my Ag advisor attended the Evoke Ag conference in Adelaide and reports it was well attended, well run, and certainly worth attending. So well done.
Thank you.
That was he came back genuinely impressed.
It's in Perth next year, so come along.
There is, however, one thing that goes back to the issue of politics masquerading as science. 2 panel members in the panel on consumer insights lectured the audience on the subject of consumerism, making the claim that people shopped too often, wasted food they bought, so should be restricted in their purchases by food shopping once a week only, and also owned too many clothes, which are, of course, made with agricultural output, fibre, including hemp. How is restricting the sales potential of your levy payers in the interest of your levy payers?
Senator, it sounds to me like you might be quoting from one of the speakers, and all I can say is I would assume that that's their personal views on the world.
It's not your
not
view.
Ours.
Not your view.
He did say that.
Okay.
Have you got many more?
Your research grants, very quick. Your research grants, and there are a lot of excellent grants in here, a lot, it's pretty impressive, financing excellent research. They do include $995,000 to $1 million to Point Advisory to research implementing sustainability development goals in Australian agriculture, $1 million to research oat and hay to support sustainable dairy production, $1 million to research something farmers have been doing forever, growing oats and turning the stubble into feed, hundreds of thousands of dollars to develop carbon farming for carbon trading, the most nonsensical contrived market since the Dutch tulip bubble, Do your levy payers know you are spending a fortune of their money promoting an agenda that is firstly the definition of political and secondly designed to move farmers off the land?
So you quoted there a whole range of different projects, and it's going to take me quite a while to work through each of those projects. So they've got very specific goals. For example, just one example, when you referred to oats, one of our industries is export fodder, and one of our key investments in the export fodder program is breeding new oat varieties with higher yields and better resistances. So, yeah, probably all I can comment.
Well, perhaps we can talk about it in the future in more detail. Last question. You're running a webinar on Thursday to promote the use of bugs as food. Bugs are not agricultural production. The Sustainable Development Goals you're championing call for short supply chains. Bugs will be grown in urban intensive production facilities, not in the regions, not in the bush. You're literally transferring sales, jobs and the future of rural commodities from the bush to city factories. I mean factories. That's what the purpose of this is, to get control of agriculture and food. Why are you doing it?
Well, particularly on the insects, we do see it as an emerging industry, and we do see some opportunities, particularly in terms of recycling waste and particularly food waste. So certainly with mealybugs, we can process food waste, turn it into a new product, turn it into a food. With some of our cricket insects that are going into pet foods, we've got some fabulous new pet food products coming out that are made out of protein from crickets. So there is interest in it. There is a global market. It is a cheap source of protein, which is the world needs.
Yep. There you go.
Yep.
You're doing people out of a job, taking regional jobs and shoving them close to the cities, and that's the intention of the globalists doing this.
Welcome.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Senator.